Hey everyone, welcome back to Better Wife, Better Life. This is episode 19, and I am your host, Meredith Riddick. Today, we're going to be talking about repair attempts. And we're just going to kind of continue building on the foundation of healthy communication skills in a relationship, whether you're single and you're looking, whether you're dating, whether you're married, or honestly, these are just really good basic tips for any type of relationship. Doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. So maybe you could apply this to something else if you're not looking more for the romantic relationship kind of skills. But repair attempts is another kind of phrase and concept by doctors John and Julie Gottman. So this is kind of part of Gottman method, and it really has to do with managing conflict well. So just to reiterate from previous episodes, just remembering that all healthy and happy couples fight and they argue and they have conflict for sure. And honestly, sometimes it might even get pretty ugly. Okay. But what happens in healthy and happy couples is that they repair pretty quickly. So it's really how they manage the conflict that makes the difference, not so much that they don't have conflict. So, keeping that in mind, wanted to share with you guys a story about Jake and me. And this is probably one of my favorite stories about our repair attempts. And it goes to show kind of what they say, like when you get mad about something and then you can't remember later on what you got mad about. Same thing happened to me. I was frustrated or mad about something with Jake. I literally have no idea what it was. And I think I was engaging in a little bit of stonewalling, but I'm sure I made it sound like I was just going upstairs to, rest or get ready for bed or something. So I just remember I was mad about something. I went upstairs and was just kind of brooding up there over whatever it was, and it was toward nighttime, so I'd gotten in bed, and all of a sudden the lights in our room started flickering. And um and then next thing I know, Jake is coming upstairs in our room, and he's kind of opening the door and like peeking his head around the corner just to kind of gauge my reaction. And what had happened was, Jake likes to, it's helpful for him, for us to kind of have more of like the smart home features, where you can manage your alarms and lights and just different gadgets electronically. And so he was able to do that from his phone. So he was trying to be funny and just get me to kind of crack a smile or lighten up or something. So he was flicking on and off our bedroom lights while I was in there trying to read or whatever it was I was doing. And I just get this image in my head of him like opening the door, peeking his head around the corner just to like see, is she laughing? Is she not? And I get this grin on my face just every time I imagine that. So, you know, that was a really good repair attempt on his part. He took a risk in seeing how my reaction was, because maybe I was just going to continue to be mad about whatever it was. It's going to be awkward night or something. But whatever it was a really good repair attempt, and I was cracking up, and I'm sure I made some joke about being married to a child. you know and we laughed and all that. But Jake is really good about things like that, and I've gotten better in receiving repair attempts. And so and then I'm pretty good about making them at times as well, whether it's in the form of an apology or using my own sense of humor, that kind of thing. It's definitely something we've both really improved at in the last few years of marriage. So I want to give you guys lots of encouragement there. I think I've shared with you guys a lot. We did not start off in a great place, but these are things you can definitely build on and just keep trying. So one of the things I notice that comes up a lot with my clients, and a lot of it really depends on what the conflict is, but there's still so much blaming that goes on. It just kind of, I get responses of, well, Meredith, why should I apologize or make an amend or whatever when he or she is the one who XYZ, And well, I'm not doing that until they change what they're doing. I wouldn't have done that if they hadn't had da 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 da. And look, I get it. I am not here to judge that in the sense of saying that, you're wrong, like you shouldn't be feeling that way or whatever. I totally get it. I think it's one of those things we have all felt at times, especially those of us who kind of have a strong need for kind of justice and fairness. But here's what I will say. That's not going to help you in your relationship. It's really not. And this is one of those things where you have to look at, do you want to be right or do you want to be effective? And you have to be able to look at this in the context of a marriage or significant dating relationship with your significant other, that your relationship is more important than the problem, than the conflict that is coming up. So, you know, going into more detail about some of the Gottman research, it doesn't necessarily matter what type of repair it is. From my understanding, the research doesn't show that one type of repair, like an apology, is better than another type of repair. However, what the research does show is that your repair attempt will be met with much more openness if you are consistently making emotional deposits with your partner. So that means if you are consistently trying to connect, if you're consistently working to build that, quote unquote emotional bank account with your partner, whatever that looks like. And I would return to the five love languages in our first couple episodes if you guys haven't listened to those yet. But consistently making those will make it much easier for your partner to accept and lean in and turn toward your repair attempt. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Couples that are really disconnected in that area, someone could be making a really good repair attempt. It doesn't matter how good it is. If there is such a disconnect and if there are a lot of withdrawals that have been made from that emotional bank account, your repair attempt is probably going to fall flat. And that's not what we're going for. So, in prioritizing our relationship over the problem, we really need to be understanding what went wrong and how to communicate in a more constructive way next time. And again, I do think the five love languages and understanding your partner, and maybe even looking at different personality and temperament inventories and understanding your partner will help in this process. Because otherwise, it's easy to get stuck and married to our own perspective when we need to be a lot more open minded about what our partner is experiencing. So, my encouragement to you guys is to really think about this and think about in your own relationship, how are you doing with making those emotional deposits with your partner over time? And what areas are you doing great with repair attempts? And what areas could you maybe prioritize that more? Making apologies, asking for a break, using a sense of humor. Maybe it's physical touch. And maybe it's just more effort of being open and seeking to understand your partner and where they are coming from. All right. So just want you guys to be thinking about that this week and see where that fits in with your relationships. As always, you can find us at harmonytherapygroup.com/better wife, better life. We're also on YouTube at Harmony Therapy Group. On Facebook, we're at Harmony Therapy Group, and Instagram. And on Twitter, we're at HTG Therapist. All right. See you guys next week.